Hi guys, today we are looking at the new program that will be starting on Monday the 16th of October. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time having a look at the new plan and how it's all set up and how you guys can get the most out of it. So we're just going to quickly, because I know a few people have been asking about tempos and sets and reps, and I know we did cover this a few months back, but I'm going to go over it just briefly again so that everyone understands exactly what we mean when we're talking about each of these components to the program card. So within your program card, we're aiming for a specific number of sets, a specific number of reps. The tempo is really important, so that's the speed of each exercise. And then the loading within each exercise is obviously something that we all need to understand in order to make this program work. So reps is one complete motion of an exercise. So I think last time we gave the example of a bicep curl. So one rep would be bringing the weight up towards the shoulder and then straightening the arm out. Okay, so that would be one rep. A set is the number of repetitions that we're performing. So we might do 10 repetitions of bicep curl. So that would be one set, and our target might be to do 3 sets of those. Um, and then the tempo is the speed of each repetition. So for example, we might set a target of 5 seconds with each repetition. So as you can see, there's a breakdown there of a 3, a 0, a 1 and a 0. So what we would say there is that the 3 represents the muscle shortening. So on a bicep curl, that would be lifting the weight up towards the shoulder. So we might say, okay, that's going to be 3 seconds. And then we're not going to allow a pause at the top of the movements, that's the 0, and then we're going to lower the weight down for 1 second and then no rest at the bottom. That wouldn't be the right tempo for that exercise, but just as an example, so everyone can visualize a bicep curl, it's fairly easy. So we might say, okay, we're going to do 3 seconds on the way up as we lift the weight, 0 hold at the top, 1 second on the way down, and then 0 rest at the bottom of the movement. Okay, so that's how the tempo is broken down. So that's obviously working out at 4 seconds for that rep. But when we look at the program card, we'll be doing probably 5 seconds with each repetition. Okay, and then the loading or the intensity of the exercise obviously refers to the amount of resistance or weight that we're using. The most important thing is that the load and the resistance works with the tempo. So obviously, if you can't stick to that 5 second tempo with each rep, then the load needs to be adjusted. If you can't hit your required rep range, however many reps that we're aiming to perform, again the resistance isn't right. So the resistance really is worked out based on how many reps you need to do and the tempo of the exercise. If you can't stick to that with that resistance, then it's not quite right. So we're going to obviously consider load and how that works in just a second. Before we do have a look at the specifics of the program card, what I wanted to do is just talk about the intensity over the course of the weeks. So as you can see here, because we've now gone to 6 days of training where we offer classes Monday through to Saturday, the way we'll be doing it now is program A would be in week 1. This is program A would be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and program B would be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Then in week 2, it'd flip around, so it'd be program A would be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and program B would be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on week 3, it will flip again, so it will keep alternating. So for those people that are doing fixed days, they always do a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They'll still get to experience both programs. It will just be a week apart. For those of you that maybe do 2 sessions per week and you change, maybe you do a Monday, a fixed Monday, and let's say a Thursday, you'll get both programs in the 1 week. Now, ideally, the ideal way this would work is that, as I say, if you're doing 2 sessions per week, you would try and do both programs. So you'd both do program A and program B in that one week. If you're a 3 times per week member, then you would ideally do twice of one program and once of the other, and then obviously flip it the other way around the following week. So you do two of the one that you did once in the previous week and one of the opposite program. Um, so as I say, this is in the ideal scenario, but for most people, they're probably going to find that they can't switch and change that frequently. So if worst case scenario, you end up doing all the same program for one week and then you get to do the other program the following week, then that's fine. But it is going to affect how we do this loading. So as you can see, what I've put down on the intensity guide sheet here is that in week one, what you'll aim to do is you'll aim to find the maximum resistance that you can do to the top rep range. So let's say, for example, if the rep range is we're looking for 8 to 12 repetitions, so that's our target, between 8 and 12 reps with each exercise. I want you in week one to find a resistance load that it might be 10 kilo, it might be 12 kilo or 15 kilo, that you can do the 12 reps at. Then in week two, the goal will then be to increase the resistance by 10 to 20% or 1 to 2 weight increments. And again, the target will still be to try and hit that upper part of the rep range, so that 12 target, but we might find that we're 1 or 2 reps off it because we've increased the intensity, which is fine because we're still within that 8 to 12 rep range. Then in week three, again, we'll increase the resistance again a little bit more. So we'll go up by 1 to 2 weight increments, still aiming for that top end of the rep range. But again, because we've increased the resistance, we might find that we're not quite getting the 12 reps, but we're still within that 8 to 12. In week four, we decrease the intensity, so we'll drop back the resistance to what we was at on week 1 or 2, and the idea of that is to allow the body to recover after pushing for 3 weeks continual. And again, we'll probably be easily getting the top end of that rep range. In week five, we then jump up significantly, so we add an extra 1 to 2 or 3 weight increments from where we was on week three. Okay, so we jump up considerably, and this time we probably find that our rep range is much closer to the bottom end of the range, so we're probably getting more like 8 or 9 out of the 8 to 12 reps, which is fine because of how we've increased the resistance and the intensity. So if any of that isn't making sense, obviously feel free to speak to me after one of the classes or send me an email or give me a call and we can talk it through. But as you can see, that really works well for those people that are able to do both sessions in a week. Okay, if you're doing it where you're doing program A for a week and then program B for a week, obviously in week two, effectively that's your week one of program B, if that makes sense. Okay, so therefore what we'll need to do is, if you're doing it that way, you'll need to speak to me and I can suggest a different way of sort of loading it. What you'll probably have to do is sort of do week one and week two will effectively be hitting the top end of the rep range, and then week three and week four, so you won't have a drop off in week four, because week three and week four will be like week two, because you'll have done the same program for a week and then the opposite program for a week. So as I say, if that's going to be the case where you're having to do it the same program for a whole week, then we'll adjust how you sort of load the workouts. But as I say, just speak to me if that's the case, and we can look at that then. Okay, so let's have a look at the program cards next. So on here, so we've got group resistance plan A. So as you can see on here, we've got a squat, which will be a barbell squat with a lat pull down or a pull up. So you can either do the lat pull down, which will be probably better suited for those that have never done pull ups before, or pull ups, which we can do assisted with a band, a resistance band to help you with those. As you can see, the target is 2 to 3 sets. We're looking for 8 to 12 reps, so it'll be 60 seconds of work, and we're looking for 5 seconds per rep. I think some of them have got an extra one in there, but on the tempo, so we'll obviously take that out. So, for example, on the squat, we'd do 3 seconds on the way down, no hold at the bottom, 2 seconds on the way up, and then that should be a zero, no hold at the top or rest at the top. On the lat pull down, it's exactly the same, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. So you'll notice that you'll be partnered up. One of you will do squat, one will do the lat pull down or pull up. Again, the sets and the reps are all the same. In week 1, we're aiming for the top end, so to find the resistance where we can hit this 12 reps. By that last week, we'll be aiming for a much lower rep range, so we'll be aiming more for like that 8 because the resistance has been increased and built up. The tempo, so we're doing 2 seconds as you pull down, zero hold that should be, and then 3 seconds on the as the arms lengthen out or the bar travels back up, and then zero rest. Um, as you can see, all of the other exercises again are partnered, so there'll be 2 people working together, one doing B1, one doing B2. So it's dumbbell alternate lunges partnered with a bent over row or a chest supported row, and then we've got a cable kneeling bar pull down with the cable bicep curls. So that's the resistance A, and here's your sets, your reps, and your tempos all sort of detailed down on there. I'll get rid of the ones where it says 1 on these. That's not meant to be there, so that should all be 0. Okay, on the tempos. And then here is where you're going to record your workout down. So as you can see, we've got week 1 is all in blue, week 2 is all in is all in green, and then week 3 back to blue, week 4. And what we're looking for here is that's set 1, set 2, set 3, okay, and you've got your reps and your resistance for each set. Now, you shouldn't really need to change them session by session, so there's only enough space to really record for one session, so you'll record it down, but if you do need to change anything, you just put a line through it and put another figure in there. So we've got your reps for set 1, your resistance set 1, reps set 2, resistance set 2, reps resistance set 3, okay, and there obviously they all key in with your exercises up here. So that's program A, resistance. So next we'll look at the cardio plan A. So as you can see, again, it's all detailed down on here, so we're not worried about the exercises because I'll be showing you them in the session. But we've got A1, A2, double rope slams, squats with lateral kickouts, bench step over with mountain climbers, and lunge jumps or pop squats with jacks. Again, we're doing the 2 to 3 sets. We're doing 60 seconds of work with each exercise, but this time the goal out here on the cardio is to just do as many reps as possible, so it's a high tempo. And what we've put down here is that for beginners, they're allowed 2 to 3 rest intervals of 5 to 10 seconds, and they can break up their reps into groups of 10 or 15 reps in a go. For the intermediate, we're looking at 1 to 2 rest intervals of, again, 5 to 10 seconds, looking to push more like 15 to 30 reps. And for advanced, maybe trying to get away with 0 to 1 rest interval within the 60 or 90 seconds, depending on what we're doing. But we're doing 60, and they're looking for 25 plus reps easily. So down here on the bottom of the program card, again, you're going to record down. So you've got A1, A2, and then you've got your the set one, again set two. So you've got your reps, and then you've got your rest intervals here that you're going to record down. So where it says here for your reps or resistance, you'd put down there, let's say for example, if it was the let's say you was doing the squats with the lateral kicks, you'd perhaps maybe put down in there that you did um, 3 lots of 10 reps. So you'd put 10 slash 10 slash 10 in that first block, okay, and then you'd put that you had 2 rest intervals of 10 seconds, okay, in here. So 10 slash 10 slash 10, and then 10 slash 10 in there. Okay, in set two, let's say for example you get 3 lots of 8 this time, so there it would be 8 slash 8 slash 8 in set two, and the rest might be again 2 lots of 10 seconds, so 10 slash 10. Okay, so it's important that when you are resting, you do count in your head down from 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and then be strict on how much rest you're allowing yourself based on what we've advised, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And that would be the same for each exercise then. Okay, so we're going to move on to resistance plan B. So on here again, it's exactly the same as A, just different exercises. So A, we're looking at more of the pulling movements and quad dominant exercises. In program B, we're looking at more of the rear part of the leg, the bend pattern, the hamstrings, the glutes, and then pushing exercises. So we've got a deadlift partnered with a bench press. So 2 of you will be doing that. Then we've got the TRX hamstring curls with a bench shoulder press. Again, 2 of you will be working on that. And then the cable kneeling crunch with the cable tricep presses. 2 of you will be working on that. Same sets, same reps. The 8 to 12 in week 1, we're looking for the higher top end of the rep range. By week 5, because the resistance is increased, we're working much more towards the bottom end of the rep range. Tempos are set, so it's 5 seconds with each exercise. So as you can see, 3 seconds on the way down, no hold, 2 seconds on the way up, again no rest then at the top. Okay, and that's broken down for each exercise: 3 seconds on the way down, no hold, 2 seconds on the way up, and then no rest with the chest press. And then your recording down is exactly the same as A with the resistance. So you've got your sets 1 to 3, your reps are all here, and the resistance is all there in purple. So you're going to record all that down there on a week by week basis. And then finally we have group cardio plan B. So again, same thing done as supersets. So 2 of you working against 2 exercises. We've got the rope power slams with the single grip kettlebell swing, the burpee press ups with the switch kicks, speed squats, or that will be squat jumps with squat hold. Again, the tempo here is just high, so it's about getting as many reps as possible with the cardio. There's some pointers here just to focus on with each exercise so we can make them as effective as possible. And as we've talked about earlier, you've got your set amount of rest periods that we advise depending on whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And we record down the same as cardio A in terms of however many reps we've got, and break it up into chunks if you're having to. So you might have got 10 slash 10 slash 10, 3 lots of 10 within the 60 seconds, and your rest intervals, you maybe had 2 lots of 10 seconds rest, so 10 slash 10 or 5 slash 5. Okay, there's a lot there for you to try and take in. As always, if you've got any questions, let me know. And as I say, we're going to have to sort of tweak it a little bit depending on how you guys are following the workouts, whether you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whether you're doing 2 sort of different programs in the week. Will affect how we adjust the loading. Okay, I will see you all soon at the class.